Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI Podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
But the eyes wide open to culture moments, that's a great point. And they happen, I think, more than either we realize, because I think you have to put on that type of lens every day that I have my practice plan. And yeah, I want to get through these things. This time is really, coaches are jealous of their time. And so we want to get through all these activities, but you have to be willing to press pause on that and address those culture moments. And TJ Rosine is a PGC coach, and one of the best, I think, of stopping whatever he's doing and hitting those things. But I think once you're looking for those, coach, you probably embody them a lot more yourself, because you're actually seeing those, looking for those more than you're looking for mistakes in your players.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I've always told my players, like, I'm not going to ask anything of you that I'm not going to do myself. So I think that's a really important note, that it does start from the top down, but also if you can empower some of those players to take ownership in these areas, they're going to listen to their peers a lot more than they're going to listen to me. And I think that's really powerful, in knowing that if you can trust and build this culture the right way, then that should trickle down as the years go on.
If it's just you, if it's just the head coach or the coaching staff doing that, then you have a chance to be good. But man, how do you become special? How do you become great? It's when players are doing that. And I think another great thing about your standards that you have, as you said, it's outside the lines. Man, have an overarching theme to your program that they can aspire to. I see a lot of cultures that have a lot to do with style of play. Like, you're a big defensive energy person. If it was just about taking charges, if it was just about pressing, if it was just about playing faster, shooting the three, you'll get some excitement there. But how do we get true buy-in from them is when we can tie it to something, like you said, serving, something, humility, that, man, this will help you later on in life. I thought you nailed it there.
Yeah, it's, I say this all the time in a bunch of these podcasts. I became a better coach when I became a mom. So I think just understanding what a little bit of tough love looks like for real. In my young coaching career, I thought I had to be all like, rule with an iron fist and my way or the highway. Like, I've definitely softened to these kiddos. They need some guidance, and I take that part of my job pretty serious. I'm an X's and O's coach, but I also want to be a mentor and a guide.
That'd be an interesting list for coaches to make of, especially if you cross that barrier. Like, my wife and I are empty nesters now. So our oldest 19 is going to college, and so we've gone through that whole thing of elementary, junior high sports, and then high school sports. Make a list of what were the things that you used to get really upset about or frustrated with, or not even care about as a coach before kids, and then do it after. Like, for one, it was, I didn't care about keeping them long after practice. Yes, end times at 6, but if I really care as a coach, that means I'm going to keep them till 6:30, because I'm going to show how much I care. I didn't think about the mom or dad that has just worked an 8-hour day that's sitting in the parking lot waiting. So I think we should make those lists, kind of like what you talked about, pre-kids, post-kids, and see where can we be better. I like that. Commitment is required. Communication is consistent. How long do you give them? I'm at a new school right now. So I was also excited to talk to you, is because you're setting up standards and doing in a new program in the same way, on a very smaller scale, that I am down at Midway High School in Waco. Communication is something, especially with younger people. I don't think they feel the urgency that they don't look at it as a conversation that we're having. What's the time limit that you give them on when should they give the thumbs up or respond to, especially if you're asking them a question?
I don't think there's like a real time limit. Like, if I send them a text after practice, if they they need to respond before they go to bed. I know they have their phones. And I've
No
done some
doubt.
things
Yeah.
too where like if I know there's roommates and one of the roommates is responding, I'm like, hey, you might want to make sure that your teammate's responding because I haven't heard from her. And then, they'll probably go knock on the door or give them a call. So just also placing, again, that responsibility and that ownership in their teammate to hold their teammates accountable. Because I could call them 10 times, I could text them, but hey, I've got 2 people who haven't responded. Are you guys going to take care of that for me, captains? Like those things that just now they can kind of even understand what my position is like, oh, this is frustrating. She hasn't responded. Now I got to go get her to respond.
Yeah.
So again, that
We just start
team
the thoughts just
ownership.
start tumbling down the mountain of like, what's wrong? Oh man, I need to go over there right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're usually pretty good just because if you make something important in your program, it should show up. I've made that important. I've stressed that. Like, it's gonna be very, very frustrating if we don't have constant communication or fairly timely communication. I also know they have class and meetings, so I'm not expecting something like right in the moment, but I am expecting it before the day's over.
I think that's a good standard, and I was trying to figure out what I wanna have because you're right on the money. The idea of, "Coach, I didn't have my phone." No. Like, it's attached to your hand now, like, there's no way you don't, but also wanna be realistic, like, there are things in life that they will be doing where they may not be checking it all the time. I like the before bed. I was thinking at least a 24-hour rule, and then going back to something you said, if we want them to communicate that way, then we have to communicate that way, right? So, like, if they ask us a question or send us something, now I have to communicate because trust comes from that. Trust comes from eye contact. Trust comes from communication, and the lack of it, man, I think on both ends that can hurt trust.
Yeah, I agree. And if it's urgent, I'm probably picking up the call, the phone and calling. So it's like, oh, Coach Miller's calling me. I probably need to pick it up. So, if it's a text or a reminder, then, that's maybe not, I don't have the sense of urgency to hear back as I would if I need a phone call.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.